A man who was having heart trouble went to the doctor to see what his options were. Naturally, the doctor recommended a heart transplant. The man reluctantly agreed and asked if there were any hearts immediately available, considering that money was no object. "I do have 3 hearts," said the doctor. "The first is from an 18-year-old kid, non-smoker, athletic, swimmer, with a great diet. He hit his head on the swimming pool and died. It's $100,000. The second is from a marathon runner, 25 years old, in great condition, very strong. He got hit by a bus. It's $150,000. The third is from a heavy drinker, cigar smoker, and steak lover. It's $500,000. Hey, why is that heart so expensive? He lived a terrible life." "Yes, but it's from a lawyer. It's never been used." Two medieval knights meet and have a chat in an extremely muddy camp. After a short while, one of them says, "I believe a person's lying in the mud. I appear to be standing on someone's leg." The other replies, "Now that you mention it, what I thought to be a rock under my feet appears to be someone's armored torso. I think it might be your knight in training, John. I guess he's passed out drunk again. Looks like you're right. How terrible. An unfortunate situation indeed. But it could be worse." "What do you mean?" "The youngsters had quite a party last night. There could easily have been more than one lying here for us to stand on." "You're right. At least we're on the same page." A little old lady went to the Bank of Canada one day, carrying a bag of money. She insisted that she must speak with the president of the bank to open a savings account because it's a lot of money. After much hemming and hawing, the bank staff finally ushered her into the president's office. The bank president then asked her how much she would like to deposit. She replied, $165,000, and dumped the cash out of her bag onto his desk. The president was, of course, curious as to how she came by all this cash, so he asked her, "Ma'am, I'm surprised you're carrying so much cash around. Where did you get this money?" The old lady replied, "I make bets." The president then asked, "Bets? What kind of bets?" The old woman said, "Well, for example, I'll bet you $25,000 that your LLS are square." "Ha!" laughed the president. "That's a suid bet. You can never win that kind of bet." The old lady challenged, "So, would you like to take my bet?" "Sure," said the president, "I'll bet $25,000 that my LLS are not square." The little old lady then said, "Okay, but since there is a lot of money involved, may I bring my lawyer with me tomorrow at 10 a.m. as a witness?" "Sure," replied the confident president. That night, the president got very nervous about the bet and spent a long time in front of a mirror checking his LLS, turning from side to side, again and again. He thoroughly checked them out until he was sure that there was absolutely no way his LLS were square and that he would win the bet. The next morning, at precisely 10 a.m., the little old lady appeared with her lawyer at the president's office. She introduced the lawyer to the president and repeated the bet. $25,000 says the president's LLS are square. The president agreed with the bet again, and the old lady asked him to drop his pants so they could all see. The president complied. "Well, okay," said the president, $25,000 is a lot of money, so I guess you should be absolutely sure. Just then, he noticed that the lawyer was quietly banging his head against the wall. The president asked the old lady, "What the HLLS the matter with your lawyer?" She replied, "Nothing, except I bet him $100,000 that at 10 a.m. today, I'd have the Bank of Canada's president's BLLS in my hand." A lawyer purchased a box of very rare and expensive cigars, then insured them against, among other things, fire. Within a month, having smoked his entire stockpile of these great cigars and without yet having made even his first premium payment on the policy, the lawyer filed a claim against the insurance company. In his claim, the lawyer stated the cigars were lost in a series of small fires. The insurance company refused to pay, citing the obvious reason that the man had consumed the cigars in the normal fashion. The lawyer sued and won. Delivering the ruling, the judge agreed with the insurance company that the claim was frivolous. The judge stated nevertheless that the lawyer held a policy from the company which it had warranted that the cigars were insurable and also guaranteed that it would insure them against fire, without defining what is considered to be unacceptable a fire, and was obligated to pay the claim. Rather than endure a lengthy and costly appeal process, the insurance company accepted the ruling and paid $15,000 to the lawyer for his loss of the cigars lost in the fires. Now for the best part. After the lawyer cashed the check, the insurance company had him arrested on 24 counts of arson. With his own insurance claim and testimony from the previous case being used against him, the lawyer was convicted of intentionally burning his insured property and was sentenced to 24 months in jail and a $24,000 fine. A man in Moscow goes up to a newsstand and buys a newspaper. He then glances at the front page, then turns aside and tosses the whole newspaper straight into the trash. Next day, he turns up and does the same thing. Buys it, glances at the front page, throws it in the trash. Next day, same thing. The newsstand worker is increasingly puzzled, but doesn't say anything. But eventually, after a couple of weeks of this, he can't take it. "I'm sorry, friend, but I must ask, why do you buy the paper every day and then just look at the front page and throw it out?" "Oh, I'm just checking for something." "Okay, but what are you checking for?" "I'm checking for a particular obituary." "But sir, you don't even open the newspaper. The obituaries aren't even on the front page." "Oh, believe me, the one I'm waiting for will be." A woman decides to have a facelift for her birthday. She spends $5,000 and feels pretty good about the results. On her way home, she stops at a newsstand to buy a newspaper. Before leaving, she says to the clerk, "I hope you don't mind my asking, but how old do you think I am?" "About 32, is the reply. "I'm exactly 47, the woman says happily. A little while later she goes into McDonald's and asks the counter girl the very same question. She replies, "I guess about 29. "Nope, I'm 47. Now, she's feeling really good about herself. She stops in a drugstore on her way down the street. She goes up to the counter to get some minutes and asks the clerk this burning question. The clerk responds, "Oh, I'd say 30. Again she proudly responds, "I am 47, but, thank you." While waiting for the bus to go home, she asks a senior gentleman the same question. He replies, "Lady, I'm 78 and my eyesight is going." Although, when I was young, there was a sure way to tell how old a woman was. It sounds very forward, but it requires you to let me put my hands under your bra. Then I can tell you exactly how old you are. They wait in silence on the empty street until curiosity gets the best of her. She finally blurts out, "What the heck, go ahead." He slips both of his hands under her blouse and begins to feel around very slowly and carefully. After a couple of minutes of this, she says, okay, how old am I?" He removes his hands and says, "Madam, you are 47. Stunned and amazed, the woman says, "That was incredible, how could you tell?" The old man replies, "Promise you won't get mad?" "Promise," she says. He replies, "I was behind you in line at McDonald's." A taxi driver is driving a passenger with radio blaring local news. The passenger asked the driver to turn down the radio. After minutes of no response, the passenger got impatient and tapped the driver's shoulder. Suddenly the taxi swerved to the left, narrowly missing a car and skidding uncontrollably towards a newsstand, and a hot dog stand right behind it, until it stopped by a wall. The driver's face was paper white and people are running left and right. Luckily nobody was harmed. The passenger jumped out the door and screams, "What the hell, man? Are you drunk? Sleepy?" The driver apologizes profusely, "I'm really sorry, sir. I'm perfectly focused, it's just that this is my first day on the job." The passenger got even more angry, "So what? Is it your first day driving as well?" "No, sir," replied the driver, "I've been driving since high school, and all my life driving is the only thing I do. It's just that, this is the first time for me driving a taxi. I have 20 years of experience driving a hearse." Hey there, I put a lot effort into making these videos, so please subscribe for more jokes and stay happy, thank you.